This tight end prospect could quietly be the perfect fit for the New York Jets offense, and we're here to break it all down. What's up, Jet fans? I'm Julian Lacosto, joined by my co-host Nick Perry, and this is the Gang Green Report. If you're tuning in, hit that like button on the way in and subscribe if you're new so you can stay up to date with all things related to the New York Jets this offseason. Let's get into the video, guys. The Jets reportedly looking into some day two tight end prospects. No surprise here, the Jets just let go of Tyler Conklin in free agency, signing a one-year deal with the Los Angeles Chargers and only having Jeremy Ruckert, Stone Smart, and Zach Kuntz on the roster currently as options. And as much as I like the upside that Stone Smart has and the connection that Ruckert has with Justin Fields, this room could still use some firepower at that position. The Jets' new tight ends coach, Jeff Blasco, was in attendance for Oregon's Pro Day. And while Oregon has a ton of prospects that the Jets could be looking at, Blasco is more likely there to see the standout tight end prospect, Terrence Ferguson. There is a lot to like about this guy's game that I think could be something we could use in the Jets offense for starters. He's already got an NFL tight end frame at 6'5", 255 pounds, but also carries it well with some insane athletic measurables, clocking in at a 4.6, 340 with a 1.55 second 10-yard split, 39-inch vertical, and a 10.2 broad jump, showing doubters that he does possess good top-end speed for his size at that frame, being that was one of the biggest concerns for him going into the combine. You can see this on the tape as he's someone that can high point the football in contested catch scenarios and show off his short burst of acceleration and lower body power in those short to intermediate yardage situations. And another stat that popped off the page is the yak numbers. He was ranked as the top tight end out of all tight ends in college football last season with 9 yards after the catch, showing that he was able to not only be a reliable pass catcher, but someone that can get the ball in space and make plays with it. Nick, what are your thoughts on Terrence Ferguson as a day two option for the New York Jets?
Yeah, I love it. I think his stats speak for itself, kind of like if you look him up. But being able to get that big body tight end who, like you stated, is a great catcher in every way imaginable and can also gain you those yards after catch, which, as we know, for a tight end in the league now is huge. We see guys doing it all the time. Travis Kelce, Brock Bowers, just to name two quick ones. I'm still in the boat of really, if we're going to go for tight end, I do really want that Warren at 7. I've said it like multiple times, but if he's available, um, but this to me is just a clear cut number 2 receiver, number 2 tight end, and would love him in the day 2 portion of the draft. Let's not forget too that this will be Fields' safety blanket and a key piece to our much needed hole on the offense. So we need to invest big in this, which is why I love that Blasco's there doing the work, getting his hands dirty, getting out there, getting to see prospects. I think it's a great way to start your time as a Jets tight end coach tenure. I mean, there's no better thing to do than get out there and start looking. So
Yeah, and as you mentioned, no matter what, even if it's for Justin Fields right now or for a future quarterback, whatever, if Justin Fields doesn't pan out, the tight end is going to be your best friend in the pass game. So if you're looking for Fields, he's had some great tight ends along his career so far. With short term with Pat Fryermuth in Pittsburgh and Cole Kmet in Chicago. I think that a tight end with Ferguson's athletic profile can add an exciting element for the Jets offense in 2025 and beyond, especially with a type of offense that we're looking to employ with Tanner Angstrand coming from Detroit Lions and that West Coast style offense. Like you mentioned, I love Tyler Warren and would love to have him as an option at number 7. But the beauty of the Jets this offseason, as opposed to seasons prior, is we do have holes at several positions of need, but we also have a solid base level of young talent already, meaning we can very well go best player available in round 1 that's not a tight end. So in case we go tackle like with Armand Membu or interior defensive tackle with Mason Graham or even wide receiver with Ted McMillan, the Jets have options. So opening the door for the possibility to take a prospect like Terrence Ferguson on a day 2, if we were to get him, I wouldn't go as far as to say he's somebody that I would take at 42 in round 2, but if he makes it all the way to round 3, I think that's a no-brainer selection, especially if you end up going tackle or somebody else in round 1. This isn't going to be a great blocking tight end, but he could make more sense at tight end than a Harold Fannin Jr. or Elijah Arroyo, who I think are more suited as big slot guys or even guys that could transition out wide. Ferguson at least gives you that athletic upside in the pass game to stretch the field vertically, but also provides some upside as a potential blocker once he adds strength to that explosive frame. Again, this would all depend on the draft strategy for the Jets going forward, especially with their first 2 rounds. If they end up going outside of tight end in round 1 or 2, I think this would be a really good high upside selection in round 3. Nick, any thoughts on the tight end position in general for us? What are your opinions on when they should take a tight end? Are there any other options that are intriguing you at this time?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I'm very in the boat of Tyler Warren at 7 to give Fields that little extra comfort at the QB position. What if we go outside the first, which I think is very likely at this point? Um, and second round, I would love to take Ferguson there. Like I said, I think it's a little bit too high, but getting him in that third round is an absolute no brainer. I also wouldn't mind taking Fannin. These are guys that you would take in probably even an even later round. But I wouldn't mind taking Fannin in a later round only because of his freakish athletic traits at the tight end position. His speed is unreal. His body size is unreal. The way he can move is more like a wide receiver than like a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Blocking is the only thing that scares me about that is his lack of blocking. And I think that with the Jets wanting to go run heavy offense this year, this may be a huge part. And I think that's also why they're going to look at tight ends like this. Also, a possibility, which we have talked about before in our mock drafts, is double dipping at the tight end position. So maybe take that blocking tight end. So out of Georgia Tech, Jackson Hawes in the later rounds if he's available. So we can even double dip, just kind of like you said, like you always say, kind of get that like athlete at the end,
Yep.
get those measurables, those guys who you are just taking a flyer on. You're like, all right, this guy's got like freakishly athletic size. Let's just take him and see what happens. I think we can go multiple different ways, and this is what makes draft night that much more exciting for us. Like you said, that we have, it's what the beauty of our off season is this year. It's also the most scary off season because I feel like, gosh, Justin Fields, you're like, all right, we got to produce, we got to get him a good tight end, but I think we can really build something special, especially on a tight end. I mean, like I said, you look at guys coming in now, Sam Laporta, Brock Bowers, like all these guys come in and have such a big impact on the offense. So this would be a huge position for us. And AG with Sam Laporta in
Mm-hmm.
Detroit. So he knows firsthand how big he can be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like the biggest thing is to point out is obviously Tyler Warren and even Colston Loveland, who I don't think is getting enough love in the first round, but he'll probably be another first round tight end. These guys are not Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers, it was generational for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Bauer boys on, all of Jets outlets are obviously pissed that we didn't take him, but obviously last year we didn't have the luxury that we do this year. And if we took Bowers last year instead of taking Olu, we'd be having 2 major holes on the offensive line this year. We'd have to take left tackle and right tackle this year because Morgan Moses would be gone. You know, you know, Tyron Smith didn't work out at left tackle for us. So we would have been absolutely screwed this offseason if we didn't take Olu. Olu ended up being the right pick for us now. Now we don't have to worry about the offensive line, at least 4 of our main starters. So
Yeah.
now it gives you the luxury to take a Tyler Warren, even though he's not that great of a prospect as Brock Bowers was. But I still think he offers the most upside in our offense because he's a great blocker. He's a
Mm-hmm.
great receiving threat. He can pass the ball. He can run out of wildcat sets. He's just an athlete and a football player. And I think that's kind of somebody that personifies what Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are trying to bring to this team. And I think those look like the best 2 names right now at number 7.
Oh, for
Tyler
sure.
Warren, Armand Mevu. Those guys just scream Aaron Glenn, big bodied like football players. And I think we're gonna see that as a trend going forward with a lot of these picks. But guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Terrence Ferguson as a prospect? Do you see him as a fit for the new look New York Jets offense under Tanner Angstrand, or should we look elsewhere? If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, guys, go Jets.